Hello, my name is Shaya. I'm a product manager at Code the Dream, and I currently work on the Vamos and Datos projects. I am based in Brooklyn, and I've been doing product management or working in some sort of software for almost 20 years. And in that time, I have done lots of different jobs within software, basically everything except for programming. I've done product management, project management, QA, engineering management, nonprofit stuff, photography, all kinds of things. And I've had a lot of opportunities to learn from trying stuff that I didn't know if it would succeed. And in some cases, definitely failed big time. So I'm just going to share with you one story that really left an impression on me from 2011, I think. I was pursuing a job at a company that I was really excited to interview for. And it was a big company based in New York, and I really wanted the job because I had already been to their office as part of user testing. And I was excited that they cared about users enough to conduct user testing. So I thought, here I go, let's try to work there. And I'll never forget the question during the interview when the interviewer asked me how I would decide which of two options to implement for a certain feature. And I was pretty new in product management, and my entire focus had been usability. And so I answered, I'll use the approach that is the best for usability, the best for the users. And she said, what if it's not clear which approach is best for the users? And I said, well, then I'll talk to engineering and find out which approach is best for engineering, which is best for our performance and our systems and our database and everything we already have, which is easiest to implement. And she said, well, what if it's the same for both options? Then what? And I didn't really have any more answers for her. And I think I just kind of tried to come up with more ways of choosing and kind of fizzled and had nowhere to go. And it clearly wasn't satisfying the interviewer. And she wrapped up the interview and I went home and that was it. And I didn't get the job. I never heard back from them. And I was so confused. Like if you don't use the information you have to make decisions, what are they asking for? So I turned to one of my previous managers, the first person who brought me into product management, and I asked her, what on earth were they asking? What did they want to know? And she told me they just wanted to know that you could make a decision. That if it came down to it, you could choose. You wouldn't just be stuck deliberating over how to move forward with this decision. And as frustrating as it was to hear that, because I had lots of ways to choose, and if they wanted me to flip a coin, I could have done it. As frustrating as it was, and it is quite possible the interviewer was a little junior and didn't know how to coax the discussion in a way that would have been more useful, I had to admit that I really do have trouble choosing sometimes. And sometimes it is the little things that are the hardest to choose between. And I took that with me in every job that I've had since then. Whenever I find myself really enjoying the part where I delve into every option and explore every option, some little voice in the back of my head now tells me, you know what? You should probably at some point make a decision and stop exploring. And that was so useful. And I think my advice to you is that even if this environment of your failure, if you experience a failure, may not be something that you chose, may not be in your control, maybe you actually did well and someone on the other end didn't understand, even then it's possible that there's a nugget of truth or wisdom in there that you can find. And I love looking back on this because I failed that interview so miserably and I was so disappointed and I really wanted the job. But what that interviewer gave me that I didn't even realize was a tool for the rest of my life. And I still use that most weeks in my life. So I hope that you experience some kind of learning failure too, which doesn't hurt too much, but leaves you with something super awesome to take with you in your toolbox throughout your career. I want to add one more thing because I forgot. That another thing that I learned in that scenario was to ask better questions. So I was a junior product manager. I assumed I should have been able to understand and answer the interviewer's questions, but I did not. And instead of asking, "What do you mean?" I just kept answering in different ways. And later in life, I learned instead to say, "Hey, I heard your question. I'm not really sure I'm understanding it correctly." And I was able to get better explanations from the interviewers instead of trying to understand the question by answering it. So sometimes it also helps to just press pause and acknowledge that you might not understand something because you don't understand it, but you also might not understand something because someone's not doing a good job of explaining it to you. And those two things can both be happening at the same time, but you have the ability to affect one of them by asking for a rephrasing, a clarification, or an explanation of what the person means. So that second corollary to my story is remember to ask questions, and you might just get the kind of information that you're looking for.